Welcome to the Natural Health Show with one of New England's leading holistic specialists, Mark Mincola. Call Mark at 617-822-1969 on 96.9 Boston Talks.
Welcome home, Natural Health Nation. Great to have you on board this autumnal, it is no longer summer, so I can say that now, autumnal Sunday. And, there's a lot of remarkable supplements available in the natural health food stores, of course, that we often talk about. A lot of remarkable herbs in the world that have been used, for medicinal purposes for centuries. And, the kind of interesting part about that is there's a lot of great herbs that have been used in Ayurvedic medicine, for example, or Chinese medicine for thousands and thousands of years that, have been considered kind of folk medicines, in that over the years the stories have been passed on down from familial generation to generation about the remarkable healing properties of various herbal formulas and whatnot. But the exciting picture now that's unfolding is that a lot of these medicines from the days of yore have suddenly found their way into research laboratories. So indeed, there have been some new studies, university studies, really kind of getting into the nitty-gritty, into the minutia of how these herbs work, what's in these herbs, what are the antioxidants in these herbs, what are their antioxidant properties, what is it all about, so how are they working and whatnot. And there's one in particular that I wanted to talk about this evening that is gaining a great deal of attention of late. It's actually from the traditional Ayurvedic world of medicine, from India, the Middle East, and whatnot. But it's an herb that's been studied extensively in both Europe, in the Middle East, and now here in the United States as well. And it's called Indian Gooseberry, or it's also called Amla, A-M-L-A, Amla. And it's, again, been studied recently. Again, the most recent study that I found was just this past year in January of 2011, rather, at the University of Pittsburgh, at the Cancer Institute, the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine Cancer Institute, where they found that the amla fruit, or the Indian gooseberry, which has been, again, used for thousands of years in Ayurvedic medicine, slowed the growth of pancreatic cancer tumors. These are implanted human pancreatic cancer tumors implanted in mice. And they found that the flavonoids, we talk about flavonoids often here on the Natural Health Show, and flavonoids really are kind of like the good stuff that's in fruit other than vitamin C. But the flavonoids are very powerful antioxidant agents that have a high concentration of ellagic acid. Ellagic acid, of course, we often talk about with regard to the remarkable research done at the University of South Carolina Medical School with regard to raspberries that Dr. Daniel Nixon has studied, and Dr. Gary Stoner out at Ohio State University as well has done a lot of research in that area. The ellagic acid in berries has been found repeatedly to be able to cause cancer cell death, to kill cancer cells for a multiplicity of cancers. Well, they found the same thing here at the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine in January of this past year at their Cancer Institute, and they found again that it slowed the growth of human pancreatic cancer tumors implanted in animals, that indeed it did cause apoptosis, or cancer cell death, with no side effects. And again, this is the Indian gooseberry that we're talking about because of the flavonoid called ellagic acid. It also has something called camphoryls and gallic acid. So there's a number of very powerful antioxidants. So again, this particular medicine, the Indian gooseberry, or Amla, A-M-L-A, is another word that means the same, refers to the same natural medicine, has been used for 3,000 years, and much folklore about its amazing ability to boost immunity and to assist for antiviral support, antimicrobial support. I just found a study from 2004, a human pilot study discovering that, in fact, it was able to inhibit the bacterial growth in HIV patients. Another study in 2007, again, inhibited the bacterial growth in HIV patients. And again, we're talking about Indian gooseberry. But the one thing that really caught my eye more specifically was that 28-day study of Indian gooseberry found that it was published again in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition that it was able to consistently lower the cholesterol in men ages 35 to 55. And we're talking about a very short window of time. We're talking about lowering cholesterol in a 2-week period of time. 25% increase in good cholesterol over 2 weeks. 25% increase in good cholesterol. LDL lowered 16%. And they found that it helped regulate glucose as well. This is a 2004 pilot study. And another recent study found that it was able to increase HDL 14%, that's good cholesterol, lower total cholesterol 17%, lower LDL 21%, and then triglycerides, which are also very bad news, blood fats, 24%. This is a 35-day study. Inhibit platelet aggregation as well. And again, the first of these cholesterol studies was 28-day study, men ages 35 to 55, lowering cholesterol consistently, published in the 1988 Journal of Clinical Nutrition, European Journal of Clinical Nutrition. So remarkable. We're talking about one really powerful herb that seems to have displayed properties, not only 3,000 years of folklore, but with regard to specific clinical response. And published studies, of course, as far as killing cancer cells and certain types of human cancers, and animal studies, implanted animal studies, as well as human cholesterol studies. So interesting stuff. We're going to talk about Indian gooseberry. We're going to also talk with you about your questions regarding natural medicine, vitamins, minerals, etc. Of course, our telephone numbers in Boston and New England, 617-822-1969. Verizon Wireless users, it's a free call. Just dial pound 969, and we're going to take your calls on virtually any topics, whether they are indeed related topics, as an Indian gooseberry question would be, or if they're not related topics regarding anything nutritional, anything natural medicine oriented. But in addition, we found that there are a number of additional studies on Indian gooseberry. Antiviral, antimicrobial, as I pointed out, anti-rheumatoid arthritic, osteoarthritis also, anti-inflammatory, pancreatitis, diabetes, age-related kidney disease, inflammation, as we pointed out, and certain types of cancer. So one of the interesting points about Indian gooseberry, besides the fact that it has flavonoids, ellagic acid, gallic acid, and camphorol, which are very powerful antioxidants, the vitamin C, which naturally occurs in Indian gooseberry, is 10 times more absorbable than most other forms. And there's 20 times more vitamin C than in oranges. That is Indian gooseberry. 20 times more vitamin C than oranges, 10 times more absorbability than most other fruits, with regard to you and I gaining access to the vitamin C that is in this precious fruit called the Indian gooseberry. So it is quite a remarkable traditional herb, and the average person is probably scratching their wooden head saying, well, where can I get a hold of some of that stuff? I mean, I'm not going to go to India and eat this gooseberry fruit, nor do you have to, folks. There's a company called Himalayan Herbs, and available at just about all the health food stores out there. I know Good Health Natural Foods, our great sponsor and friend, certainly has the Himalayan Herbs brands. And so Himalayan Herbs makes a 250 milligram capsule. And the way you would purchase it there is AMLA, Amla. Amla is what we talked about earlier, which is kind of a shorter name for Indian gooseberry, but again, for purposes very broad, but specifically, we're talking, I think, about getting this cholesterol down. A lot of people, of course, worried about their cholesterols, their triglycerides, their blood fats. A lot of grave concern about those issues. And a lot of folks constantly asking me about alternatives. Hey, is there something I can consider other than, the present bill of fare out there. You know, the standard fare out there these days would be the, of course, the statins and whatnot. And a lot of people are interested. Hey, is there something else we can research, look at, study, and get excited about regarding the potential to lower cholesterol? So I point to Indian gooseberry or AMLA. AMLA is amla fruit, which is actually what it is. So it's dried amla fruit, and again, it's available at Good Health Natural Foods and most health stores. From Himalayan Herbs, 250 milligram caps. I recommend 2 a day. Hey, we're going to talk more about that, and we're going to take your calls. And you got our numbers here in Boston, New England, 617-822-1969. Verizon Wireless uses free call pound 969. Be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Have the conversation.
I'll do it right now.
96.9 Boston Talks.
The brain requires nutrition just like the rest of the body. Although many of us depend upon caffeine for focus and concentration, caffeine is not actually a nutrient. Real nutrition is needed to enhance brain metabolism and provide antioxidant protection. This is where Jarrow Formula's Neuro Optimizer comes to the rescue. Neuro Optimizer is a concentrated source of the nutrients needed for memory and mood, for concentration and focus, all without being a stimulant. Neuro Optimizer supplies the building blocks for neurotransmitters, the chemicals that allow cells in the brain to communicate and to file away memories. Acetyl L-carnitine and alpha-lipoic acid support brain energy production. Phosphatidylserine, L-glutamine, and taurine enhance brain stability and detoxification in the face of stress. Neuro Optimizer is the nutritional answer to the brain's needs. Ask for Neuro Optimizer at your local health food store, or for more information, go to jarrow.com. That's Jarrow for the best in brain health formulas.
Do you own or manage a natural health, fitness, day spa, or go green business? Perhaps you have a unique restaurant that offers healthy entrees, heart-smart seafood, vegetarian or lighter fare options. I invite you to share your vision and deliver your message directly to health-conscious New Englanders by becoming a sponsor of the Natural Health Show, New England's #1 health radio show. The Natural Health Show is now welcoming potential sponsors to join our natural health family by offering a number of creative and flexible sponsorship packages. For information on how to become a sponsor of the Natural Health Show, simply call Candida at 781-834-2728. That's 781-834-2728. Be a part of New England's natural health revolution. Join our Natural Health Show family today.
Make plans now for a day with Alberto Violdo, renowned medical anthropologist, psychologist, and leading teacher of shamanism. Hear Alberto Violdo on Thursday, October 20th, 6 p.m. at the Lantana, 43 Scanlon Drive, Randolph. With so much worrisome news lately, Alberto may be just what you need to keep yourself in balance, not forget your true mission, and likely get nourishment. Alberto will share spiritual inspiration coming from his own process in a unique presentation 2012 and beyond. Register for Alberto Violdo at myhealthylivingmag.com. General admission is just $49. Program begins at 6 p.m. This is your chance to see Alberto Violdo live Thursday, October 20th, 6 p.m. at the Lantana in Randolph. Reservations, call 781-834-2728. That's 781-834-2728. Or online, myhealthylivingmag.com. myhealthylivingmag.com. Come to learn how we can live in genuine harmony with each other.
96.9's new primetime lineup.
Rise and shine!
Jim and Marjorie 6 to 10. Doug Meehan 10 to noon.
We're going to have some fun, people.
Michael Smerconish live noon to 3. And Michael Graham.
You let me ride home with you after work.
Now, afternoons 3 to 7.
You'll know a little more and have a lot more fun.
96.9 Boston Talks.
Hey, have you heard about Streamline, the new air service with fast flights to the Philly-Trenton area for just $99 each way from Hanscom Airfield, right off Route 128, exit 30B in Bedford? Streamline will change the way you feel about flying and all the big airport and big airline hassles that go with it. Streamline features quick boarding, friendly people, free snacks and cocktails on board, and best of all, no charge to check bags and absolutely no change fees. Their strong commitment to reliability and outstanding customer service means over 96% of Streamline flights have departed and arrived on time. That's in 2011. An unmatched record of performance, and Streamline gets you there in about half the time versus the big airports, the train, bus, or driving. Streamline is expanding, so look for more service and new destinations soon. Why wait? Fly Streamline nonstop to the Philly-Trenton area today. No lines, no hassles, no kidding. Fly Streamline from Hanscom Airfield. Book online at iflystreamline.com. That's iflystreamline.com.
Flights are public charters under PC 1105 054, operated by Charter Air Transport.
Now, back to the Natural Health Show, sponsored by Good Health Natural Foods in Quincy and Hanover.
In Boston and New England, 617-822-1969. Verizon Wireless uses free call, pound 96.9. Let's go to Sharon in Framingham. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talks. You are on the Natural Health Show.
Hi, Mark.
How are you?
Not good. I have spinal stenosis.
Okay, I'm very sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I am too, believe me. I don't know what to do as far as I've been using many herbs and vitamins for 30 years.
Yep.
I've followed you, as a matter of fact. And I'm puzzled now what to do.
Well, one of the things that you want to be thinking about is that it is kind of an epigenetic dilemma that begins with something called glycation. So the idea that you have various heavy animal proteins and sugars converge, forming what are called galactin-3 proteins in the body that really cause a lot of plaquing problems in the human body. And what I've done in recent years, actually doing a lot of corporate consulting, a lot of folks with stenosis issues, and one of the things that I've kind of discovered some breakthrough potential with is, I got a lot of these folks tested by the Allotest medical laboratories in terms of where the allergies, where the food allergies are with animal proteins, any allergies to, pork or poultry, whatever they might be. So any kind of problems with animal protein digestion, and the inability to really efficiently break down animal proteins, and then that converges with sugar. Poorly metabolized animal proteins converging with sugar produces this glycation, this plaquing business. So number one, I'd say you want to get tested for the animal proteins, or at the very least, I hate to say it because you probably don't want to go there, but more vegetarian type protein or vegan type protein, getting away from animal proteins and really cutting down on sugars. And that coupled with a very powerful proteolytic enzyme, I like to recommend Serrapeptase, Serrapeptase, Serrapeptase. And the brand that I like is the Enzymedica. Enzymedica makes a good, strong serrapeptase. It's 100,000 units. So the real key is taking 3 of those a day on an empty stomach. Don't take that during mealtime because those enzymes will seek out the proteins that you're eating instead of the proteins that are massing and accumulating and creating the problems with stenosis and plaquing. So 2 things, lean proteins more in the vegetarian sort of direction, less animal proteins like we said. Number 2, cut way down on sugars if not out. And number 3, so animal protein, cut down, cut it out. Sugar, cut down, cut it out. And then to engage in a serrapeptase support about 3 of those a day, 100,000 units rather of serrapeptase by Enzymedica, and 1 capsule 3 times a day on an empty stomach.
I've already had testing done, ALS test.
Yes.
I've had that done about a year ago.
And which of your proteins, animal proteins, came up problematic? Do you remember?
All meat, chicken.
Yep.
Mainly, I had a lot of problems with grains, wheat, all kinds of grains.
See, that's what I found. I stumbled on that in the corporate environment because, we ran hundreds and hundreds of these tests, and I got to find out from, I'd study these records over and over and over, and I say, son of a gun, these people that have stenosis are all sensitive to animal meats and some form of sugar. And in this case, sugar would be your grains.
Right.
So the inability to break down the grains and the animal proteins are causing the glycation problem that is causing all of this kind of stenosis issue and this plaquing, like we talked about, glycation plaquing. So to get off those things that you don't know how to break down, your body can't manage those animal proteins and those grain products. Opton said for potatoes, sweet potatoes, move your starches more into the realm of vegetable starches and away from the grains that you don't have an ability to break down.
Okay.
And then I would definitely make sure you take 100,000 units of serrapeptase 3 times a day on an empty stomach, and you should be pointed in the right direction.
Is this reversible?
Well, yeah, I mean, I have patients, like I talked about when I did consulting in the corporate environment, that had stenosis, and a number of them were scheduled for surgery. And again, when I started to really make these connections from their food allergy tests, I would engage them in the program that I just described for you, and a lot of them canceled their surgeries. Their physicians sent them home, said that they were doing well. So I guess you could say affirmative.
Good. That's wonderful.
All right, so you got to stay away from those animal proteins that you're allergic to, stay away from the grain products you're allergic to, and take the Serrapeptase 3 a day.
And what about pain control?
Well, pain control is a natural part of any kind of inflammation, of course, and this is an inflammatory condition, unfortunately. So
Right, yeah.
I probably, for that, would recommend something like DLPA, 500 milligrams, 4 a day.
Right. I know that. Okay.
Or you could also think about using the, you could use the New Chapter product, the inflammatory, the Zyflamend, Zyflamend. You could
yes, I've been looking at that.
Try 4 to 6 of those a day.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Hey, good to talk to you. Take good care.
Thanks.
All right, bye-bye. Again, in Boston and New England, 617-822-1969. Verizon wireless users, free call, pound 96.9. Let's go to Teresa in Somerville. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talk. You're in the Natural Health Show.
Hi, first-time caller, long-time listener, and
welcome.
you have an excellent show.
Thank you so much.
I've been having a problem with itching. Well, first of all, I moved into an elderly building.
Mm-hmm.
There was a breakout of bed bugs. There's no more bed bugs, but I'm constantly itchy, and I'm scratching my skin. And I was wondering if tea tree oil could help me, or if you have any recommendation of something I can buy.
Well, tea tree oil is actually a good place to start because it is antifungal, and it's likely that you've got an allergenic fungal response. So you could start off with the tea tree oil. That's actually a really good place to start. It's also an antipyretic, anti-inflammatory, and it's a great product to begin with, and it's not hard to find, not expensive, so that's a good place to begin.
Well, I don't know if I should use a full strength or dilute it with water. I do have it in a spray bottle, and I do spray myself and around my bed area and my whole apartment. And also I heard something about white vinegar.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I'd go for the white vinegar. I think there's another good way you could go here would be Melaleuca, too. There's a number of people out there that are marketing different Melaleuca, different types of Melaleuca products out there, but Melaleuca is a really good way to go as well. But I would definitely dilute the tea tree oil, at least 50%.
Melaleuca?
Melaleuca. Don't ask me to spell that.
Okay. Okay, because I enjoy your show and I listen to you faithfully.
Well, thank you so much.
And I get a lot of information there, and that I'm into all that. I Google a lot of that stuff. And you're always right on the dime.
Well, thank you so much, Teresa. I appreciate your call, and
I love this station.
Thank you so much, and thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Have a great night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
You too, thank you. In Boston and New England, 617-822-1969. Verizon wireless users, pound 96.9, free call. And we should also probably take a moment to mention that we're fortunate this evening here on the Natural Health Show to have Dr. Bernie Siegel coming on to chat with us at the 5:40 mark. He's a good friend of the show, has been on a number of times, and I've known Bernie for quite a while, and we look forward to having him on. But he's got a brand new book entitled A Book of Miracles. And anybody that knows Dr. Bernie Siegel knows that we're in for a very rare treat tonight at 5:40. I love one of the things he says here. Life is uncertain. Eat dessert first. Never go to bed mad. Stay up and fight. Never argue with a woman when she's tired or rested. That could only be a Bernie Siegel-ism. Anyway, Bernie will be on to chat with us at 5:40. Love having him around. He's really very, very special, and he's always got some brilliant insights. And here's a gentleman who's, of course, been involved really at the front of the alternative medicine movement for a number of years, since the 80s, really. And he has so much to contribute, so make sure you stay on board with this because special treat if you've never heard Bernie Siegel before. He will be with us again at 5:40 tonight, so stay tuned there. All right, let's get back to your calls. We got Karen in Carr. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talks.
Hi, yeah, it's Karen. I called because the last caller you mentioned tea tree oil. I have a toenail fungus.
Yeah.
And, I've had it for years. I've never really been able to get rid of it.
Sure.
I just cut my toenails very low.
Yep.
And I've gone to the doctors about it, and they don't really know what to do with it.
Yep.
And I've even put straight tea tree oil on it, and it doesn't seem to make a difference.
Well, yeah, but I think there's a difference. I think when you're talking about nail bed fungus like that, you're talking about a systemic problem. In other words, there's fungus within the tissues, or systemic fungus, in the form likely of like a Candida type bacteria, which is a single cell bacteria. I mean, if you use fermented foods, if you're using vinegars and yeasty breads and sugary foods, you're going to build up the colonization process right in the intestines, and that stuff is transported, and wherever there's moisture is where it's going to settle down. So that's a little bit of a different problem, I think, and she may be able to do okay with the tea tree. She also might want to do well with there's a great product made called Candida Guard. You could also try that as well, Candida Guard or Aura Thrush. And really what that is sorbic acid from coconut. And you can take it internally. You could use it internally and topically. They make a D formula, which is topical, and a G formula, which is more internal. So it's sorbic acid from coconut oil, and it's antifungal. It's pretty strong stuff. But you're right, though. I mean, there's no question about the fact, Karen, that these systemic fungal infections they're really tough customers. No two ways about it.
So it's more of an internal, what's going on in my body.
It is, yes.
More than anything topical. Then.
Yep, it's systemic. And I mean, the only folks that I've ever seen have great luck with toenail fungus problems would be those folks that did all the topical stuff you're talking about, but in conjunction with that, in a very specific diet for an extended period of time where they're taking no fermented foods, no vinegars, like we said, no nuts, not a lot of sugary foods, et cetera, et cetera. So they had to really be careful about yeasty breads and all that business.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Hey, pleasure. Thanks for calling.
Okay. Yeah,
right.
bye-bye.
Yep, bye-bye. All right, we're up against break time, and people like Bob, Christine, all you folks out there, hang in there. We're going to take your calls when we come back. And again, our numbers in Boston and New England, 617-822-1969. Verizon Wireless users, it's a free call for y'all. Just dial pound 969. You're listening to Mark Mincole. This is The Natural Health Show, and we'll be right back.
Turn on your mind. 96.9 Boston Talks.
Hi, this is Laura from Good Health. It's back to school again, and now more than ever is the time to think healthy. Nutrition experts know that 70% of the human immune system resides in the belly, so eating healthy and taking the correct probiotic is important. Don't be fooled by all those yogurt ads. The truth is, some yogurts do have small amounts of acidophilus, but they also have sugars and extra calories. There's no substitute for the real thing. Everyone in your family will benefit from probiotics. They improve digestion, metabolism, skin health, and general detoxification. Come see us in Quincy and Hanover. We're online at goodhealthnaturalfood.com. Visit our children's sections and ask about Nature's Plus Animal Parade Gold Chewables with probiotics and vitamin D, and our delicious chewable greens for kids. Pick up some antibacterial products and eco-friendly lunch totes. This fall, protect your whole family naturally with Megaflora, New Chapter, and Renew Life probiotics. Good Health Natural Foods, where back to school is stress-free and affordable. Come by and see us today, and thanks for listening.
When most people hear the word allergies, they think only of hay fever-like symptoms associated with airborne pollen, dust, and mold. But did you know that many experts estimate that between 60 and 80 million of us suffer from immune-related food allergies without even knowing it? Furthermore, food allergies often contribute to serious health problems such as autism, irritable bowel syndrome, ADD, headaches, and chronic ear infections. Now, there's an effective way to identify and eliminate both your food allergies and the troubling symptoms that they aggravate. Allotest Medical Labs at foodallergy.com offers a full complement of clinical, environmental, and food allergy testing to help you get to the root of your allergy problems. Allotest also provides you with a comprehensive rotation diet, lifestyle booklet, and a wallet card to help you live food allergy-free and stress-free. Do you wonder if you or your loved ones are among the 60 to 80 million food allergy sufferers in America? If so, log on to Allotest Medical Labs, foodallergy.com. Talk to your doctor about ordering a food allergy test from Allotest Medical Labs today. Foodallergy.com. Make sure the food you're eating isn't what's depleting you.
Make plans now for a day with Alberto Violdo, renowned medical anthropologist, psychologist, and leading teacher of shamanism. Hear Alberto Violdo on Thursday, October 20th, 6 p.m. at the Lantana, 43 Scanlon Drive, Randolph. With so much worrisome news lately, Alberto may be just what you need to keep yourself in balance, not forget your true mission, and likely get nourishment. Alberto will share spiritual inspiration coming from his own process in a unique presentation 2012 and beyond. Register for Alberto Violdo at myhealthylivingmag.com. General admission is just $49. Program begins at 6 p.m. This is your chance to see Alberto Violdo live Thursday, October 20th, 6 p.m. at the Lantana in Randolph. Reservations, call 781-834-2728. That's 781-834-2728. Or online, myhealthylivingmag.com. myhealthylivingmag.com. Come to learn how we can live in genuine harmony with each other.
Now, back to the Natural Health Show, sponsored by Good Health Natural Foods in Quincy and Hanover.
In Boston and New England, 617-822-1969. Verizon Wireless users free call, pound 969. Let's get right on back to your calls. We got Bob in Marlboro. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talk Show and the Natural Health Show. Hello, Bob. Oh, looks like Bob just vanished. Okay. All right, well, just call back, Robert. Sorry you were patiently waiting there, so just make sure you call back in anyway. I wanted to make sure we get back on track here with what we've been talking about here at the outset of the broadcast, just to bring it on home a little bit here. The idea of Amla being a really potentially useful nutrient for you folks out there. Remarkable, called the Indian Gooseberry, remarkable product. Again, the company that I recommend for this is the Himalayan Herbs, and they make a product called Amla, A-M-L-A, and it's just a remarkable product. 250 milligrams. I'd recommend 2 a day to get those cholesterols down, boost the immune system, etc. And we've got... I guess we got Bob and Christina back on the line here. So, Bob, if you're out there, welcome to 96.9 Boston Talk Show and the Natural Health Show.
How you doing? Great show.
Thank you so much.
I just got cut off. I went in a bad area, so I guess it may happen again. I'm sorry if it does.
It's all right.
I have questions about liver cysts and hemangiomas.
Yes.
And what can you do about them? I know they're benign, so I've been told. Yeah. And is there something you can use to cleanse or anything like that, or maybe get rid of them or whatever?
You know, whenever you're talking, whenever you talk about the liver, you're talking about really probably looking supplementarily into the area of lipotrophic emulsification. So, what I'd recommend, there's a great product by Lewis Labs. Lewis Lab been around for a long time, and they make a lecithin in a kind of granulated form. Now, when I say it's granulated lecithin, you think of granules as being, hey, the minute they hit water, they're going to explode. It doesn't do that. They stay pretty solid as granules, but they go down pretty easily. You can put them in water, put them in juices or protein shakes or whatever. But Lewis Labs makes a really good lecithin granule, and I'd recommend 2 to 3 tablespoons of those lecithin granules a day to support the emulsification process and get the bile moving in the liver and gallbladder. That would be the first thing that I'd recommend. Of course, dietarily, sometimes we get caught up talking about supplements. We don't talk enough about food, but you got to be careful about the real saturated, the real long chain saturated fatty acids. So you want to be. Hopefully, you're not eating a lot of cheese and beef and sour cream and egg yolks and all that stuff, because that's probably not the good direction to go in dietarily. But I think the emulsification support with lecithin granules would be really good.
Oh, okay. All right. And you can get that anywhere in the store or health store?
Yeah, pretty easy to get. I know Good Health Natural Foods, our sponsor and friend, has that. Most of the health food stores out there should have Lewis Labs. Okay. And make sure you get the granules. It's a lot easier to work with.
Is there a web I can get on to buy that?
Yeah, I'm sure you could. It's Lewis Labs, Lewis Laboratories, and it's lecithin granules. Make sure you get the granules.
Okay.
All right?
All right. And you take it with food?
Better off to put it in a beverage. You can. Not a problem to take it at a mealtime. It's not going to be interfered with, so there's no problem there. Pretty easily assimilated, and it's probably best taken in a beverage of some kind. You need to mix it up in a beverage just to get it down as a medium for it.
Probably the directions are probably on there anyway.
Yeah, you just put 2 or 3. Yeah. The scoops are like 1 tablespoon scoop, so you put like 1 or 2 of those in a large glass of water. Even that's in the past I've used it, and that's how I've taken it, and just down the hatch with it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Good luck to you. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We got Christine in the car. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talk. You're in the Natural Health Show.
Hi. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
I have a question about sleep. Now, my entire life, I've always been kind of a night owl.
Yep.
But regardless of how much sleep I get, I have never woken up feeling refreshed, like well rested. Never. And if I work my job, I'm up very, very early, so I try to get to bed early. I take melatonin. I take 1 milligram at night, and it helps me fall asleep. I fall asleep so quickly when I take it, but no matter what, I always feel exhausted when I wake up. And if left to my own devices, I usually won't wake up for about 10 or 11 hours.
Yep.
That's usually for me. So, but I'm so sick my entire life. It was especially brutal for me, like in high school, having to wake up early, and just feeling so exhausted and dragging.
How do you do with allergies and colds and flus and all that? So how's your immune system?
I'm a smoker, so I get sick pretty frequently. Every time I have a cold, it turns into bronchitis. But I don't have any allergies. I have mild asthma, but nope, I don't have anything like that. It's just I'm constantly exhausted. It doesn't seem nothing about my exercise or diet as
So you're getting a really good quality of sleep. You're getting plenty of it, prolonged sleep, but you're not feeling refreshed, not feeling energized as you get up throughout the day.
Never happened to me.
Yeah. You know what I'd recommend? I'd recommend there's a pentose, a 5-carbon sugar supplement called Ribose, Ribose.
Ribose.
And ribose is a really good way to get some boost of energy right from the mitochondria. The engine, we always talk about the mitochondria is the little engines in your cells. So are they being fueled? And in many cases, the answer is, of course, no. And ribose is a great way to make sure that there is a greater efficiency with the fueling process of the engines within your cells, so to speak. So ribose...
Is it a pill?
You can get it in chewable pills. You can get it in little tiny powdered formulas that they have little thimble-sized scoopers in there, so they dissolves in water, makes the water taste a little bit sweet. So you can do it either way. But one of our sponsors, Jar of Formulas, makes chewables that are, I believe, 1,000 milligrams, and then they also make the little thimble-type scoopers in their powder that's 2,200 milligrams. So you go either way. But I'd recommend that you take 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of ribose at least 3 to 4 times a day, and you can spread it out throughout the day. Take some ribose like in the morning, then late morning, and then early afternoon, then late afternoon. So about 3 or 4 times a day throughout the day. And after about 4 or 5 days of that, you should certainly notice something, no question about it.
Okay, now can I just get that at the health food store?
Yeah, easy enough.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Good luck.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. In Boston and New England, 617-822-1969. Verizon Wireless users free call pound 96.9. Let's get to Michael in Hall. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talks. You are on the Natural Health Show.
Thank you for taking my call.
Pleasure.
You're my flu preventer. I did the Monolarin the year before last and never got sick, and I skipped a month last year, and I got it. So I'm back on that next
There you
month.
go, back on the saddle, yes.
Reason for another call here. You were just talking to somebody about plaque and pancreas, and I have a cousin with carotid artery, one side 100% blocked, the other side 50, a brother-in-law with the same issue. It's pretty common these days.
It is.
She's on Coumadin, trying to come off. She's going to have a MRI next week, but no one's talking to these people about diet or supplements, and I know she eats prime rib. She has alcohol.
44% fat prime rib.
Exactly. I know. And I'm just wondering, is there any write-up? Is there any recommendations? They really can't do anything with the one that's blocked 100%.
Yep.
She'll have a major stroke, and the other side, they don't want to.
How old is she?
She is 64.
Oh, boy. That's too bad.
They operated on one side, and there was a little piece of plaque left, and it caused another stroke.
And is she sedentary? Is she someone who doesn't really engage in a lot of exercise?
She's sedentary.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yep.
Well, I mean, here's the way it works. The way it works is this, that in terms of which you could look at and research and check out a little bit, there's a protease that we mentioned earlier. You're right. It's called Serrapeptase, Serrapeptase, Serrapeptase. But it's actually, it's a page out of Chinese medicine. It's from the silkworm, and it's an enzyme from the silkworm that's a protease, and it really looks for plaque agents in the blood, and it kind of gobbles them up. So, what its history is, both in Chinese medicine and now in more recent times, the nutritional world of natural medicine here in the West, is it's really exhibited ability to kind of to really consume protein plaques, deposited protein plaques, such as the glycation type plaques that we talked about earlier. Also, it's going to look for errant calcification, because we're talking about a lot of calcium that dumps as well. There's a lot of non-metabolizable calcium. I always tell people, calcium is either the best friend you ever had or the worst enemy you ever had. And any calcium that is in the wrong place, that's not properly assimilated, ends up in many cases in the arteries. But a lot of the damage, in the arterial highways of the body ends up plaquing and taking on a lot of obstructive calcium and protein and fat. So you got to be really careful of the diet. Anyway you cut the mustard here, you really got to get her off the prime rib.
And what about sugars and alcohol and things like that?
I was getting to that. I think it starts off with the real, the saturated fats, obviously the cheese, the sour cream, the red meat, the yolks. That stuff is inflammatory. It also produces a lot of thromboxane A2, which is, clotting factor problems. So, dietarily got to get off that saturated fat, that heavy animal stuff. Number two, you're absolutely right. Sugar, you talk about anaerobic glycolysis and the liver's, breakdown. Your liver basically takes a carbohydrate and a sugar, and it uses whatever it can as immediate energy, whatever is not being used as energy. Because if you're sitting around all day long and you're not really using a lot of energy, you're not burning calories, you're going to deposit a lot of that as FAT. So a lot of sugar that's not utilized, essentially for all intents and purposes, really stores as fat. Where does it store? In many cases, the arteries. So, unfortunately, you're right. Sugar becomes a real problem there. There's Dr. Michael Brown was at MIT in the 1980s. He won 2 Nobel Prizes in medicine in the 1980s for his HMG coenzyme A reductase dissertation. This dissertation that said, hey, folks, 80% of our blood fats are produced in our own body, and they're manufactured by our liver, and they're triggered by insulin. So the more sugar, the more insulin, the more fat you store.
Does drinking wine help circulation, as they say, or is that still added to it?
That's really convoluted. A glass of wine from time to time, it can have a lot of value. But for all intents and purposes, people get the wrong message. Hey, wine's good for you. They go out and you drink 3-4 every night. It's still sugar.
Right.
And sugar stores as fat, so you're not going to get away with that.
And probably walk, or some kind of exercise.
Right. Walking is absolutely the bare minimum here. It's a great exercise, but she's got to be encouraged when the time is right to really start all over here and get the diet right, get the exercise plan up and running, and then supplement properly.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Pleasure. Thanks for calling.
Okay. Bye now.
Bye-bye. All right. Let's see here. Let's get to Mary from Milton. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talk Show, the Natural Health Show.
Hi, how are you today?
Terrific. How are you?
I'm doing well. I really enjoy your show, first of all.
Thank you, Mary.
In the store, we bought the Buy 5 drink. Do you know the drink I mean?
No, I do not.
It's BAI 5.
Oh, BAI 5. All right, yep.
And can you tell me, do you know what the benefits are? My kids love it, and I just want to kind of find out what the benefit is of it.
Well, there are a number of different meal replacement drinks that are out there, and I think that they're really good for kids. There's a lot of different formulations. I'm not really on top of I know what the drink you're talking about, the BAE5 is really kind of like a meal replacement nutrient drink for people that like kids don't always get all the calories, the efficient nutrified calories that they need. So something like a meal replacement drink is not a bad idea. The one that I usually like is the Spirutein, SPIRUTEIN. Spirutein is a really nice formula. It's not genetically modified. It has all your vitamins, minerals, nutrients, enzymes. They load it up. And it tastes great, and there's a million different flavors. So I always say that, for kids in particular, it's a really good way to go because you're looking at something that is going to sort of make up the difference for whatever's not happening in a healthy diet. And, of course, kids and healthy diets don't seem to be synonymous, unfortunately, in most cases. So good way to go.
Okay, could you repeat the name of that, please?
Spirutein, SPIRUTEIN.
Okay, but this drink that I was talking about, actually, it's a coffee-based. It's made from the coffee bean.
Right. You're talking about the BAE5?
No, it's BAI5.
BAI5. If it's made from a coffee bean, I still think that, you're giving this to your kids?
Yes, yeah.
All right. I suppose what I need to do is probably take a closer look at it. It's probably something that hit the marketplace right under my nose. So I'm going to take a closer look at it, and I'll tell you what I think about it. But, in general, I like the idea of meal replacement drinks like the Spirutein. I don't know what the BAE5 is,
okay.
But I can tell you Spirutein is a meal replacement that I really, really like a lot for kids.
Okay, I'll look into that. That sounds great.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, let's get to Jennifer and Whitman. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talk Show and the Natural Health Show.
Hi, Mark.
Hello.
I'm going to be doing a liquid essential detox by Renew Life.
Yep.
You recommended it.
Yeah, great product.
I'm wondering, can I take chlorophyll with that?
Sure, no problem.
Don't take them together? Or does it
no problem. You could do those together. There'd be no problem whatsoever. All chlorophyll is going to do, obviously, is increase delivery of oxygen, kind of bump up some of your hemoglobin. So I think you could easily do that.
And I also take bromelain and Serra enzymes.
Good.
All good to take with
Absolutely.
the detox?
Sure, because enzyme activity, of course, enzymes are catalases. So, you're looking to kind of break things down, pull things out of the body, and that's really what catalases are all about. So I think that's a great plan.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, once again, in Boston and New England, 617-822-1969, Verizon Wireless users. Free call pound at 96.9. And we are going to take a short little breather here, and I believe we'll be back for a couple quick calls before we talk to Dr. Bernie Siegel. Can't wait to do that, so stay right where you are.
96.9's new primetime lineup. Jim and Marjorie 6 to 10. Doug Meehan 10 to noon.
A little new thing going on over here at TKK.
Michael Smerconish live noon to 3.
We are ecstatic to be with you live.
And Michael Graham.
Your official afternoon drive wingman.
Now afternoons 3 to 7. 96.9 Boston Talks.
There's a fine balance between what's best for your landscape and what's best for your family. This is why Aspen Environmental Services of New England is proud to be an industry leader in the use of environmentally responsible products for outdoor pest control, tree and shrub spraying and injecting. Applications control Lyme disease ticks, caterpillars, adelgids, and 200 other pests that damage landscape. Visit the plant healthcare professionals at treeandlawncare.com. That's treeandlawncare.com. Or call 888-418-BUGS and mention Candida because listeners get a 10% discount. That's 888-418-BUGS. treeandlawncare.com. Get them before they get you.
Make plans now for a day with Alberto Violdo, renowned medical anthropologist, psychologist, and leading teacher of shamanism. Hear Alberto Violdo on Thursday, October 20th, 6 p.m. at the Lantana, 43 Scanlon Drive, Randolph. With so much worrisome news lately, Alberto may be just what you need to keep yourself in balance, not forget your true mission, and likely get nourishment. Alberto will share spiritual inspiration coming from his own process in a unique presentation 2012 and beyond. Register for Alberto Violdo at myhealthylivingmag.com. General admission is just $49. Program begins at 6 p.m. This is your chance to see Alberto Violdo live Thursday, October 20th, 6 p.m. at the Lantana in Randolph. Reservations, call 781-834-2728. That's 781-834-2728. Or online, myhealthylivingmag.com. myhealthylivingmag.com. Come to learn how we can live in genuine harmony with each other.
Now, back to the Natural Health Show, sponsored by Good Health Natural Foods in Quincy and Hanover.
All righty, we're going to be trying to get Dr. Bernie Siegel back on the line here. We had him on just a moment ago, so we're going to be efforting that. But again, just to kind of bring home our message from earlier in the broadcast, the remarkable Amlay, AMLA, is something that a lot of people that I think would benefit from learning more about and from exploring a little bit about. But Amla is something that Himalayan Herbs has available at Good Health Natural Foods, 250 milligrams. I recommend 2 a day, and that is, again, Indian gooseberry. Get that cholesterol down. All right, do we have Bernie on the line? Dr. Bernie Siegel. Yes. Dr. Bernie Siegel, wonderful to have you on board. My apologies for us being behind, but thank you so much for being on board here.
Okay.
And there's a wonderful new book, I understand, A Book of Miracles, yes?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, it's wonderful stories by people who have had, what they call miracles. And it's not just about disease, just about all the things that happen in our lives that, as Elizabeth Kubler-Ross used to say, there are no coincidences. How our unconscious creates events and things. And So we put all these stories together, and before and after them, I make comments so people can learn from them. You know, I mean, if you talk about it from a physical perspective, you talk about people getting well when they're not supposed to, you know, it becomes a miracle or a spontaneous remission, and you don't learn anything.
Right.
But Solzhenitsyn used the term self-induced healing in it, and he referred to the symbol of it as a rainbow-colored butterfly. And he's really telling us to get our lives in order, transform our lives, get them in order, and then some wonderful physical things happen. Because just as you're talking to people about what's good for them, but if they haven't been brought up with love, self-destructive, then the information doesn't change anything.
Great point.
You know, when love comes in, some wonderful things also happen in the body. You know, I always say a line from a poem by John Updike about a scab is a beautiful thing, but it says our body loves us. But if we don't love our lives, then the body doesn't see death as the worst outcome. You know, Monday morning, heart attacks, strokes, suicides, and illnesses. And so I'm trying to get people to love their life and their bodies, and then some miraculous things happen.
You're also talking often about how we need to find our unique rhythms.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that a little bit.
Well, it was discussed with me by Norman Vincent Peale. I was in New York, where I was born and grew up, and I said to him, I just can't take all the noise here. And he said, Bernie, it's not about noise or quiet, it's about rhythm. And, you know, I began to understand there are a lot of creative people in New York who love that energy and noise. And so for each of us, I always say we need to find our authentic self. You not wait for a disaster, you know, as Hemingway said, to become strong at the broken places. Don't wait to break down. Learn from those who have had troubles and survived. I mean, that could be from the Bible, from Buddha, from a whole host of things, or people who are living today who have had some miraculous events happen, and know that we have that potential too, because that's a word I love, potential. You know, that when people are willing to participate and become active in their health and their lives, they have a wonderful potential. You know, who knows what the future will bring. But, you know, when we die because of statistics or all kinds of things, it's not very helpful or useful.
And today is the only day that exists.
Right. Country Western. Yesterday is dead and gone. Tomorrow's out of sight. Help me make it through the night. And I think when and Woody Allen, two friends are talking. One is totally depressed, and the other guy says, what are you doing Saturday night? He says, I'm committing suicide. And the other fellow says, how about Friday night? And, you know, and like you're on the radio program, you know, and you always say, Bernie, we're running out of time. I mean, we're all going to run out of time, so enjoy it.
That's great. So folks can get a hold of this wonderful, wonderful book entitled The Book of Miracles by Dr. Bernie Siegel. How can they do that?
Yes, it's, I mean, out. It should be in bookstores now and everything else. My website, Bernie Siegel, MD, SIEGEL.com. They could order through that and would find a lot of interesting comments and articles there, you know, that I keep reflecting on. So I think, you know, your fans, so to speak, your listeners, I think would enjoy that too. Mind and body, you know, both things. Can't separate them.
And Bernie, I know Candida has an event coming up sometime in December. Is that correct?
Yeah, December 1st in Marlborough, Mass. I'll be speaking there and talking about my work. You know, part of why, if I may bring this up, I mean, I have never met a doctor who was told that about 90 years ago, Carl Jung interpreted a dream and made a diagnosis of a brain tumor. The man was talking about milky fluid and an obstructed pond, and Jung interpreted it as obstruction in a brain tumor blocking the flow of cerebrospinal fluid, and he was absolutely correct. And so, again, I try to get people to be aware of their intellect, yes, but also that intuitive inner wisdom, and bring them both together when they're dealing with their health.
It's such an important part of the total self, the holism of immunity. And I think people are starting to get your message, Bernie. I know you've been a pioneer with regards to this specific message of wholeness and peace.
Yeah.
And it's something that's been a part of your message now, your mantra, since the 80s, really.
Yeah, and science is catching up. Because
absolutely.
Nobody would fund my research, and then they criticize me for not doing any. But today, you know, we have research with laughter, loneliness, and a whole host of things, and how they affect genes and immune function and survival.
And maybe most important question of all is, how are you doing?
Well, I try to live the sermon, let's put it that way, because one of our kids, maybe this is a good way of summing things up, I was talking to a group and said, what would you do if you had 15 minutes to live? And some of the answers blew my mind. Who wants to spend your last minutes doing that? But one of our sons said, I buy a quart of chocolate ice cream and eat it. So I said to him, you're enlightened. I don't have to worry about you. And then somebody else in the group said, but what if what I told you is my chocolate ice cream? And I love that. And I'd say to everybody, go out and live your chocolate ice cream. Because great. This is when I get letters from people saying, I was told I had 2 months to live, so I bought a dog, put it in a backyard wildlife habitat, laughed more, took some vitamins. The letter goes on and ends with, I didn't die, now I'm so busy I'm killing myself. Help, where do I go from here? So, and there was a gentleman in London who was told he had 2 months to live, and he literally spent every penny to have a fantastic 2 months. And, of course, he feels wonderful and wants to sue his doctor 2 months later. And so I'd say to people, follow your heart. Let your heart make up your mind is a sentence I love. And then it's amazing what your body then does in response to that.
Incredible. Well, Dr. Bernie Siegel, I thank you so much for coming on board, and folks can take a look at A Book of Miracles. It'll be in the marketplace soon, I believe. Yes, Bernie?
Yeah, it's out there now.
It's already out there now, yeah. So take a look for A Book of Miracles by Dr. Right. Bernie Siegel, and we can catch up with you in Marlborough in December 1st. I guess we're going to probably publicize that when that date gets a little bit closer. Great. But, Bernie, it's always a pleasure, and I really do appreciate you coming on.
Well, I appreciate your work and all the information you give those who have the inspiration and then use it.
Thank you, Bernie.
Okay, bye-bye,
Mark. Bye-bye. All right, well, we're up against that time, and again, what a special way to conclude. But remember, folks, it's Woody and Abby and Right Turn Radio coming up next, so don't go anywhere. Stay right where you are. Thanks to producer Mike Roberts, great show, and Alex Todorovic, podcast meister Adam Ing. Thanks to Candida. And check out our website at maxhealing.com if you have any questions about anything you heard this evening that kind of flew by a little too quickly, because we podcast these shows each week, and you can catch up with our archives, again, at maxhealing.com. And again, take a look, Fox 25 morning show, 8:55 this coming Thursday. I will be on Fox 25 again to do my segment, my Living Well segment, so I look forward to seeing you then. Until next Sunday, this is Mark Mincola reminding you, please be wise, be aware, be well. Make it a healthy week. Good night.